You can find my, you can see my screen, right? Okay. Here I am going to import the two files now. I can connect to the Excel, I can connect to the CSV, or I can connect to the Oracle, or I can connect to the SQL Server, I can connect to the Snowflake, I connect to the DB2. So we can connect to multiple sources at a time. We can import the tables from the multiple sources into the Power BI. At a time we can connect to the multiple sources. What the meaning is, we can connect to the Oracle, we can connect to the SQL Server, we can connect to the DB2. At a time we are connecting the multiple sources. What are the tables required for them? We are going to import those tables only from the different sources into the Power BI. So we have an option that to import the tables from the different sources also at a time. For example, here I am going to connect to the particular Excel. I am going to connect to the Excel. I am going to import the employee table. I am going to import the employee table. It's showing a list of tables now. I am selecting the particular table to import that. I am selecting the employee one. I am importing that. This is the table we have imported from the which source? Excel. We have imported from the Excel. Now I'm going to connect to the another source. So now I'm going to connect to the CSV file. I'm going to connect to the CSV. So now I'm going to connect to the department table. Department table. Okay. Click on the load option. We have taken the two tables now. The employee table coming from the Excel and the department table coming from the CSV. We have connected to the two sources. From the one source we have imported the employee table, other source we have imported the department table. So how many tables we have? Two tables. Let me expand this. So what are the columns we have? Department ID, EID, E-name and SAL. Here also we have the department ID, department name and EID. So this table having the department ID, department name and EID, employee ID. This employee table having the columns like department ID and EID, the EID is nothing but employee ID, and E-name and salary. Are you getting? These are the different columns we have. But let me, is it department ID is a dimension or measure? Department ID is a measure or dimension? Dimension. Because it is showing as sigma, but that's not the measure. All the ID columns are related to the dimension. What do you need to do? We can go to the change the summarize, make it as don't summarize, right? Okay, good. Then so department name is the text one, okay, that is the dimension one, and employee ID is the dimension one, okay, good. What about this one? Department ID is the measure of dimension, but it's showing as a sigma, right? What do you do? And change it as a don't summarize. And the department employee ID is the dimension, and employee name is the dimension, and salary is the measure. Clear? Is there any common column between these two?
Yeah.
Is there any common column between these two?
Yeah. Employee.
Exact column name.
Yes.
What is the exact column name between these two?
Yeah.
EID, right? Exact column name. Exact column name. EID. But I don't want to provide the relationship between these two tables based on the employee ID. I don't want to provide the relationship between these two tables based on the employee ID. I want to provide the relationship between these two tables based on the department ID. Based on the
Department ID.
I want to provide the relationship between these two tables based on the department ID, not on the employee ID. But this department ID exactly not matching with this department ID. name wise. Here the department ID name is DPT ID, and here we have the column name is department ID. Both are not same. Both are
Not same.
exactly the column names are not same. But what is the exact column names are matching? EID and EID, right? But what is my requirement? I don't want to provide the relationship between these two tables based on the EID. I want to provide the relationship between these two tables based on the department ID. Based on the department ID. But this department ID and this department ID column names are not exactly same. These column names are not the same. Are you getting or not? Okay. What is the exact column name between these two? EID. But what is the column I want to provide that to take that relationship? Department ID. I want to provide the relationship between these two tables based on the department ID, not on the employee ID. But we have taken these two tables, we have imported these two tables backend from the different sources, or maybe it came from the same source also. That is not the issue. But if we go to this model view, right? If we go to the model view, we can find the relationship between these two. We can find the relationship between these two. What is the relationship is? A connection between the two tables. What is the relationship meaning? A connection between the two tables. That connection came automatically or we have created? The connection which is showing now between the employee table and department table, one connection is showing now, right? That connection we have created or by default it came? By default it came. By default it came. We didn't create that. The Power BI provide the default relationships between the common columns if it finds the same name. If it finds the same column name, automatically Power BI provides the a relationship. Maybe we need it or we don't need it. If we don't need it, just delete that. If we need it, we can keep it. What I am going to say? At the time of importing the backend tables into the Power BI, if it finds any common column name, exact column name, automatically it provides a link between the two tables based on that common column names. What is the common column name now? EID in between both the tables, right? So here when you move the cursor on this link, what are the column names are highlighting? In both the tables, EID. If there is any column name is different, that time Power BI is not providing any relationship by default. But if it finds any common column name exactly, the Power BI will provide a relationship between the two tables. Maybe we need it or we don't need it. That depends on the requirement. We can choose that which is required. I think that. Here pictures lagavasuna. Just a picture. Finish it. Okay, great. I think. Fact picture. Okay, done. See, if you don't need this link, what I do? we can delete, right? How to delete that? Okay, how to delete that? Select that link, click on the delete button in the keyboard. Click on the delete button on the keyboard. Otherwise, right click on this link. We have a delete option to delete this link. To delete this link. That link we have provided or it came by default. It came by default. It came by based on the common column. What is the common column between these two tables? EID. Why it is not department ID? Why it is not department ID? Here the department table having the department ID, the name is DEPT ID, and here the department ID is department ID. Is it matching or not matching? Column names. Not matching. It is not matching. That's the reason the Power BI not providing the default relationship between these two tables based on the department ID. It is providing the relationship between these two tables based on the employee ID, EID, because they are exactly matching. Any questions? Clear? But if we don't need, we can delete that. We can provide a relationship between these two tables based on the other column. Based on the other column. Based on the other column. Okay? So now, do you have any link now? Do you have any link now? No, right? Why we need the relationship? Why we need the relationship? If you don't have the relationship between these two tables, what will happen? What will happen? Let's see. Is there any relationship now? No link, right? No connection, right? Okay, now there is no link now. Where you can find that? Where you can find that if there any relationship between the tables or not? Where we can find that whether the relationships are there or not? In the model view. In the model view, we can find that whether the relationships are there or not in the between the tables.
So by visually only data will see automatically.
Let's see. Okay. Now, is there any link now between these two tables? No, right? Okay. Now go to the report view. Go to the report view. I'm taking the any visualization. I'm taking the any visualization. Okay. I'm taking the any visualization. So in this visualization, I'm taking the columns from the department table to display. Is it displaying? Yes, right? It is displaying. Okay, good. I want to make the particular columns in a proper make it as a bigger size now.
By default, we cannot change format size.
By default, we cannot. If you have the theme, if you have already backend theme, automatically it converts. If you create the theme,
Every time we are doing
yeah. If you have theme, we can do it. Okay. So now let me take the column headers also. Are you able to display the columns data from the first table? Are you able to display the data from the first table? Now I'm going to take the second visualization. I'm going to take the second visualization. In the second visualization, I'm taking the other columns from the second. I'm going to take the columns from the second table. But this EID is not the measure, it's a dimension, right? We can change this to convert into the don't summarize. Now let me add the columns from the second table. Now the first visualization showing the data from the first table and second visualization showing the data from the second table. Okay, let me get this formatting stuff to apply here to make it bigger now. Now any difficulty now you are facing? We are able to display the data from the first table separately and we are able to display the data from the second table separately. No issues, right? Now I'm going to take the another visualization. I'm going to take the other visualization. Okay, I'm taking few columns from the first table. I'm taking few columns from the first table. I'm going to take the few columns from the second table. Unable to display, right? I'm taking the few columns from the first table and taking the few columns from the second table to display the single visualization. Are you able to?
No.
No. Why?
No relation.
Why? No relationship between these two tables. There is no relationship between these two tables. That's the reason we need to provide the proper relationship between the two tables. Because some information coming from the one table, some information coming from the second table. All the data coming from the single table, that time no need to have the relationship. But here, some employee information is coming from the employee table and department name information coming from the second table. I want to know that which employee working in the what department. Particular employee working on the which department. The Ramu is working on the which department. The Mohan is working on which department. The department information is not coming from the single table. That is coming from the other table. So when we have the particular information coming from the different tables, but I want all the information to display in the report. But we need to have the proper relationship between those two tables from the backend. Then only I can pull the what data I am looking for to display now. Are you getting? So now backend in the model, this is the one table, this is the second table. But there is no relationship now. There is no relationship. But when you take the single visualization to display the data from the one table, it's displaying, no issues on that. But when you take the second table information to display, that is also getting displayed, no issues on that. When you are getting the issue, in the other visualization, so some column from the one table and some column from the second table. Then only you are getting the issue, right? Why? There is no relationship between these two tables from the backend. There is no relationship between these two tables from the backend. Any questions? Anybody? So what do you do now? We need to provide the relationship. We need to provide the relationship. Where you can provide the relationship? Where we can provide the relationship in the model. In the model. In the model view, we are going to provide the relationship between the two tables. Are you getting? Shall we go? Now tell me. In this department table, we have the department ID. In the second table, we have the department ID also. Are you getting or not? But exact column names are not same, right? These column names are exactly same or not same? Is it mandatory? Is it mandatory to have the exact column name? Then only I can provide the relationship? Or what is the thing we are going to consider? Do we need exact column names to provide the relationship? Let's see. Okay. From the back end, I'm going to open the employee table and department table, and I want to see the data in that. What is the data exactly? Okay. I can get to know that what is the exact data from the back end. From the employee table, the employee department ID column, right? What kind of data it is having? In employee table, the department ID column, what kind of data it is having? Numeric that to 10, 20, 30, 10, 20, 30 and so on, right? Okay. Remember those values. 10, 20, 30. In the employee table, the department ID having the 10, 20, 30 and in employee table, the department ID column having the what type of values? 10, 20, 30, this kind of values. Let me open the other table. That is department table. In department ID column, what are the values it is having? 10, 20, 40 and so on. Even though there is exact column names are not matching. Even though There is no exact column name, but in that the values are same only. In that values are same only. So we are not providing the relationship based on the exact column names. We are not providing the relationship based on the exact column names. If the column names, if the column having some related data, then only you are going to provide the relationship. If the column having the some related data, here we can find the 10, 20, 30 like that. In other table we can find the 10, 20, 40 and so on. Then only it is possible to provide the relationship between them. Are you getting or not? But in one table the values are 10, 20, 30. Other table the values are Rama, Mohan, Krishna. Is it possible to provide the relationship between them? No, right? Even though there is no exact column names, but in that we have the values, they are matching to other column, then you can provide the relationship. Then you can provide the relationship. What you got now? So in the department table, what is the column name? Department DPT IDs. And what about the other table? In employee table, what is the column name? Department ID. Is it exactly matching column name? But in that column, we have some values, right? 10, 20 and so on. So when you are going to compare the other table, in the department ID column, the values are same only, right? Some values are matching, right? So based on the values, we are going to provide the relationship. Don't think that if you find the exact column name, then only you are going to provide the relationship. No, that is not the parameter. If the columns are having some related data, then only it is possible to provide the relationship. Are you getting or not? Any questions? Let me show you. Go to the data view, no need to open the source to see the result. What are the records are available in the table, no need to open the source files. From the data view also, we can get to know that what type of data the table having. Go to the data view, in this department table, what are the columns we have and what type of data we have it. We can preview the data. No need to open the source files to see the result, to see the data. In the Power BI itself, if you want to see the data, what is the table having, we can preview the data from the data view. This table, department table, it is having the department ID column. This is having the DPT ID column and department name and EID. It is having the 10, 20, 40 and so on. If you select this second table, it's showing the data to preview the data from the employee table, and we can see the EID, E-name, salary and department ID. It is having the different data now. Now tell me, is it possible to provide the relationship between the employee table and department table based on the department ID column? Is it possible or not possible? Huh? Not possible? Why? My question is it possible to provide the relationship between the employee table and department table based on the department ID column? Huh? Not matching? So don't look for the column names. What is the data it is having? Just look at it. Any data is matching between these two tables based on that column, then provide the relationship.
It's matching.
Understand? Any other having any questions? Roshini, Narendra, Jayashree?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay. See, what is the column here? What is the table? Employee table. What is the column here? EID. And go to the second table. What is the second table? Department. And what is the column name here? EID. What is the values it is having? 1, 2, 3. And here also we have the EID 1, 2, 3 only. The column names are also matching, and in that values also matching. Are you getting Anna? Is it possible to provide the relationship between the employee table and department table based on the EID? Based on the EID? Why?
Same as
Same values. And column name is also matching. Is it parameter like, is it mandatory to have the exact column name to provide the relationship? No, it's not a parameter. Okay, we need to look for the values. We need to look for the values. Don't say that if the column names are exactly matching, don't say that we can provide the relationship. No. In that column, some values are matching to the other column in the second table, then we can provide the relationship. Then you can provide the relationship. But at the time of importing the tables from backend to the Power BI, is it Power BI by default, it is providing the relationship based on the EID or department ID? Why? The exact same column name, Power BI not knowing that we to provide the relationship between the department ID, it just showing the relationship between the two tables based on the EID because the column names are exactly matching. But maybe that relationship will work for me or not, depends on the requirement, we can keep it or we can delete it. That is the secondary thing. But Power BI thinking that it is providing the default relationship between the two tables wherever it finds the exact column name at the time of importing into the Power BI. Are clear? But later we can check that whether this relationship is mandatory for me or not as per the requirement. If it is required, we can keep it as it is. If it is not required, we can delete that. And we can provide the another relationship between these two tables based on the other column. Now tell me, is there any column between these two tables to provide the relationship? Is there any apart from the EID column? Apart from the EID column, is it possible to take the another column to provide the relationship between these two tables? Now tell me what is the column? Why? The column names are exactly not matching. So don't look for the exact column name to provide the relationship. If the column having some values are matching with the other column in the second table, then you can provide the relationship. Are you getting? Okay. Now, these are the two tables now having the department ID column and DPT ID column. Okay. To provide the relationship between these two tables, okay, we can drag the department ID column and keep it into the another department ID column in the second table. We can provide the relationship like this. How to provide the relationship between these two tables? Drag the one column from the one table and keep it the second table the same column. Like that we can provide the relationship. Like that we can provide the relationship. Drag the column from one table and keep it in the same column in the second table. So it is providing the relationship. It is providing the relationship. So let me check that whether the data is coming or it's showing the wrong result. Previously it is giving the error, right? Previously it threw the error, right? But it's giving the result now. Why? Previously it threw the error. Now it's giving the result. Why? We provided the relationship between those two tables from the backend. That's the reason. Even though we pulled some column from the department, we pulled some column from the second table. In this one, it's giving some result. It's giving some result. If we don't have a relationship, what will happen? For example, I'm going to the backend, deleting this link between these two. Now we don't have a relationship now. We don't have a relationship. What will happen? It's throwing the error. Why? So there is no relationship between those two tables from the backend. Are you getting? What is the importance of the relationship? What is the importance of the relationship? If we don't have a proper connection between those two tables, if we need some information from the one table and some information from the second table in the same report, is it possible to display? I'm getting some information from the one table, getting some information from the second table without having the relationship between those two, is it possible to display? No, right? So what do we need? We need the relationship. What do we require to provide the relationship? Okay. Are you looking for the exact column name? Or are you looking for some records are matching in the other table? Records, right? We need to look for the records. We need to look for the records. Clear? Any questions? So previously we have seen that how to provide the relationship between these two. I'm just dragging this column and keeping like this. This is the one way of providing the relationship between these two. What is the other way is? What is the other way is? Go to the manage relationship. Go to the manage relationship, and here we can go and create the new one. We are going to create the new one.
Right now? దానికి అసలు ఛార్జింగ్ ఏది పట్టట్లా ఇది పట్టదన్నా కొంచెం
ఏది
ఏది
పట్టిదా ఏది అమ్మాయి ఏది
ఈ అమ్మాయి అసలు ఛార్జింగ్ పెట్టట్లా
ఎందుకని